and as me, things will be in the way that Manchester should be. As you mentioned, well, Sir Alex Ferguson left a big gap in the club. Not only Sir Alex Ferguson, one person that I think makes a difference, the Peel. Ferguson is a very, very good man. And the structure around Sir Alex Ferguson was very important too. I knew that Manchester United wasn't the same, but I don't see that it was a big gap of big things that go through by the last 10 years. And it was the thing that surprised me more.
Little things like even the swimming pools players used, the saunas, all these facilities, nothing had changed since you'd left in 2009.
Nothing changed. Surprisingly much, only the pool, the jacuzzi, even the gym. Even some points, the technology, kitchen, the chefs, which is I appreciate, lovely person. They stopped in a time which is it surprised me a lot. I thought I will see different things, different, as I mentioned before, technology, infrastructure, but unfortunately we see many things that I used to see when I was 20, 21, 23. So surprised me a lot.
It also, of course, as you said, you've been at Real Madrid and Juventus, where you saw them moving all the time to progress with technology, the latest thing, to improve performance levels. So you were able to compare what you'd experienced there with what was not happening at United.
In United, the progress was zero, in my opinion. To compare with Real Madrid and even Juventus, that they follow the recent world. So the technology, especially in terms of training, nutrition, and conditions of eat properly and to recover better than before, surprised me. Manchester right now, to compare with that club, I think it's behind, in my opinion, which is something that surprised me. A club with this dimension should be in the top of the tree, in my opinion, and they are not. Unfortunately, they are not in that level, but I hope that in the next years they can reach to be in the top level.
When you look at United, have had some of the best managers in the world follow Sir Alex Ferguson, and they've all been relative failures compared to other stages of their career. Do you think that partly that's down to the structural element of things, that there just isn't the support that top managers need?
I don't know what's going on, but since the Sir Alex Ferguson left, I saw not evolution in the club. The progress was zero. For example, we have an interesting point that how a club as Manchester United, Ole, they bring sport directive Ralph Ragnick, which is something that nobody understands. This guy is not even a coach. Bigger club like Manchester United bring sport directive. Surprise not only me, but all the world.
It's a ridiculous decision, isn't it?
Of course, in my opinion, you have to be honest. If you're not even a coach, how you're gonna be the boss of Manchester United? It's something that I should see that Manchester is not followed, not the right way to reach successful like other teams, like for example Liverpool, Manchester City, Chelsea. They are one step behind or two because of this kind of mistakes. In my opinion, that they should improve and change probably the staff or the people, the directives or presidents. I don't know who is the problem there, but
is still a lack of ambition here. When they replaced Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, who a lot of fans liked, but he obviously wasn't delivering the big titles that United wanted and were used to. But to a point, someone like Ralph Rangnick, I mean, I'd never heard of him. And I'm thinking, had you heard of him?
No, of course.
You'd never heard of this guy?
Nobody. And the people who I speak, nobody knew it with him.
And suddenly did you call him the boss?
Of course. I respect. We have people because he assumed the job. regardless, all the coaches that I had in my career, I call them boss because it depends on the job you have to call in that way. And in the end, deep inside me, I never saw him as a boss because I saw some points that I never agreed, and he stopped in the time as well because if you're not being a coach, the next 5 years, you're gonna lose the identity of to be a coach. So surprised me a lot, but in the same way, don't surprise me a lot because typically the structures keep in the same. So the coaches didn't surprise me, but it was a tough moment.
Well, the story was very quickly after running because I started briefing journalists that you weren't pressing enough and that maybe it would be a good idea if you moved on from the club. And I'm like, who is this guy? And why is he saying this to the man who's scoring the goal?
To be honest, it's something that I don't understand. The new coaches that coming around, they think they find the last football in the desert, which is I don't understand. The football there invent many years. So, but I respect any coach have a different approach, different opinions, different mentality. Kind of some points that you're you not agree. So I'm always like that in my life. I'm always been besides the best coaches in the world: Zidane, Ancelotti, Mourinho, Fernando Santos, Allegri. So I had kind of some experience because I learned from them. And when you see some coaches that they're coming, they want to revolution the football, I not agree. I have my opinion. They agree or they disagree, but it's part of the business because I'm in the end of the day I'm in a club to win, and with my experience I want to help like always. And I some coaches that don't accept, and it's part of the job.
Did he know what he was doing, Manning, or not? At a club like United?
No, they don't. They knew with the club very well, but they don't know the dimension of the club inside, the history of the club, which is for me surprised me even more. Which is when you soccer always Solskjaer you should bring manager, not sports director.
Did you think he was right to get rid of Solskjaer, or would you have picked him up?
It's not well. I love Solskjaer. I think was a top person because what I keep inside my heart is the heart of the persons. Only for me is a top person. Coach, of course, he wasn't. He didn't look for what he wants. It's hard to assume after Sir Alex Ferguson, and I think he did a good job. For sure, we need more time, but I'm never in doubt that he's going to be a good coach in the future. But it was a good experience. I was so pleased to work with him, even a short period.
What about the younger players, and specifically their mentality? Because it seemed to me, just from what I was reading, when you were originally at Manchester United, a young 18-year-old, that you had huge respect for the older players, the Keanes and these guys in the dressing room, and you would soak up their experience, their wisdom, and so on. Did you get that same respect, do you think, from the younger players?
I don't mean that they don't respect the experienced players or the oldest players. I don't think that word is the best one, but they live in a different era. I can see my kid, they're 12 years old. The mentality, they are not the same. They are not suffer that. It's the difference. The anger. I think the anger. I think that they have the things more easily. Everything it's easily. They don't suffer. And I think they don't care. I don't mean only like you in Manchester United. All the teams, all leagues in the world, the youngers, they are not the same of my generation. But we cannot blame them because it's part of the life, the new generation and the new technologies that avoid they distract them for another thing. So